Hey, you guys. So we are officially 1 day away from the 9-day challenge. So that's what this live is going to be about. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask me during this time period, anything you would need help on, any advice that you feel like I can give you at this moment, I definitely will be able to do that. And then also just giving you guys a rough overview of how it's going to look for the first 4 weeks, which is essentially phase one. So we are going to talk about that. I want to give people enough time to join. So I'm going to just do like a minute. We're just going to give it a minute. So it is 6:32 right now. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to give it a minute. So about 60 more seconds and allow people to join. Any questions that you want to ask. If you have not already joined, I did start a group chat. And so I have posted it on like my post area. If you are signed up for any of my worksheets already, you should have gotten that email because I've been sending the email out. If you have not received any of those emails, please make sure you check your spam folder or you check your socials folder or your all email folder if you're on Gmail, because sometimes it goes to there. And also, I will be able to link below the group chat on how you can join, the link to that and all those things. So yeah, that's very exciting in there. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm like really excited. Sorry, I keep looking at my phone so that I can look at everything when we're doing it. But I'm really excited for tomorrow. I'm scared. I'm nervous, just like y'all. I don't want y'all to think it's just y'all. I'm very scared. I'm very nervous. But we got this. And as I said before, if you are not ready tomorrow, which is September 25th, please do not rush it. If you want to end your 90-day challenge by January 1st of 2026, you have until October 3rd. So I know for some people, even starting on a Thursday is a little bit uncomfortable because it kind of feels like, well, I kind of want to start on a Monday or a Sunday or something like that. It just doesn't go with your schedule. That's perfectly fine. You can even start this upcoming Monday. But also for those people who even don't make the October 3rd date, like adjust the schedule as necessary. Don't force yourself to try to do something to try to fit it in and then it doesn't even work for you. Because if you want to be completely honest, for everyone, this journey is not going to be 90 days. For some people, it's going to be longer than 90 days. And so I'm going to talk about why for some people it may be longer. And it might hurt your ego a little bit because you're kind of like, well, it was supposed to be 90 days and everybody said 90 days. But my thing is it's most important for you to make sure that you're doing the challenge correctly and that you achieve your goals. And for some people, it's going to take them 90 days. For some people, it's going to take them 95. For some people, it's going to take them 97, like whatever the case may be. So yeah, there's that. Hey, you guys. So we're just about to get started. So we are discussing phase one of the challenge, essentially. Phase one is really focused on the breakdown, or I should say the detox. So every single week, it kind of should look like you detoxing certain things and you building I would say the framework or just like the ground base for habits. For the first month, I don't want anyone to think of it as achievement. You actually should not be achieving anything specifically the first month. It really should like you doing more so. But like when I say doing, eventually, yes, you might want to lose the weight or you might want to gain the weight and you might want to get your body together. But for the first month, at the end of the month, you should say, I work out maybe 3 times a week. That working out can be a 10-minute workout. That working out could be a treadmill. That working out could be anything you want it to be. But as long as you can say at least the basis of I do that thing. As the later months come on and the later phases, I'm definitely going to have lives for those as well. But as the later phases do come on, that is when you should be like, I go to the gym and do weights 3 times a week, or I do Pilates 3 times a week. Like the whole idea and premise for the first month, phase one, is really to focus on getting rid of your distractions and then kind of putting something in space of those distractions. I did create a video talking about exactly, sorry, I was going to say a different word that didn't make sense, but exactly what to do for the entire, let's say, phase one journey. So that on my channel is called, let me go to the name of the video so you can watch it if you haven't already. The Great Lock-In, First 4 Weeks, Discipline, Habits, and Focus. I definitely, if you have not seen that video and you want to start your challenge tomorrow, or honestly, if you want to start the challenge in general, I recommend that video. It literally breaks down week by week by week. Now, I don't want to repeat the entire video because it's kind of like, there's already a video for that. So definitely watch that video. But I want to discuss with you guys some of the things that I'm doing. So hopefully it can give you guys a better understanding of like what should it look like or what should you do or examples. So tomorrow I am detoxing one thing, right? For the first week you should detox something. And for this entire preseason, I was telling you guys, hopefully you have been aware of documenting what are some of your energy drainers, like what are the things that are literally draining energy out of you. And so one of the things that I noticed for me was Instagram. So I'm actually deleting my Instagram on my phone, and I'm only allowing myself to have Instagram on my iPad. So that's one of the things that I'm deleting. Another thing is too, for your first week, you should prioritize either a morning routine or a night routine. Please do not try to do both. It's going to be too hectic. And honestly, just try to get a basis of like what you want the routine to look like. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but like I said, the rough idea of it. So for example, what time, relatively do you want to wake up? And look at it in a sense of getting closer to the identity that you want to have and the person that you want to be. So you can say, I want to start waking up earlier. If your goal ultimately at the end of the 90 days is to wake up, let's say at 6:30, right? That's what you want to do. For the first week of you trying out, you testing out morning routines, you should not be waking up at 6:30. Like if you wake up currently at 8, possibly try 7:30. And I know some people like, that's not nothing. That's 30 minutes. You would be surprised how easier it is for you to go from 7:30 to 6:30 from it is for you to try to jump from 8 to 7. Even though technically that's the same thing, it's an hour, right? 8 to 7 is the same thing from 7:30 to 6:30. But once your brain starts getting used to you doing the things first and foremost that you say you're going to do, and then also going towards a goal, it makes it easier. Very much so like going to the gym, right? Once you start going to the gym consistently, you start getting your form down, it's a lot easier for you once you get all those things in place to start moving up in weights than it is for you to initially start, right? At first, the 15-pound was so heavy, it took you a couple weeks to start really doing the 15 pounds correctly with the weights. But then you notice how you already going up to the 25, 30 pounds in a week. And so it's because you've built that muscle and now it kind of has a foundation of what to do. So like I said, picking a morning routine or a night routine. In the YouTube video, I'm not going to lie, I did tell you guys I was doing my night routine. After paying attention to my mornings and paying attention to my nights, I think it'll be more productive for me to do a morning routine to start with, really because I waste a lot of time in the morning. I waste so much time in the morning just laying in bed or trying to do work in bed or just not getting up. So I've built a routine around that. I've also am going to start working out 3 times a week. But like I said, the whole idea behind this is that you're building a premise for something. So my 3 times a week, now tomorrow, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I am going to the gym. But I also do have a gym membership that I need to start using because I pay for it. I'm gonna be going to the gym tomorrow morning because that's just what I want to start with. But for my 3 days, honestly, it's not going to be the gym. Like I have a treadmill. Thankfully, my grandmother has a treadmill in her basement. So sometimes it's going to look like me doing 15 minutes on a treadmill. Sometimes it'll look like me going on YouTube and doing a 10-minute workout. The whole idea is at the end of the day, I can say I worked out. If you get what I'm saying, like don't be so focused on what you were doing and how long you did it for, like be able to say that you did that thing. And another thing that I'm trying to do is really start implementing a schedule for myself. So even when it comes to working out, like I'm giving myself a time frame in which I am going to be working out because, and this is really up to each its own. The reason why and I mentioned this in, I think the 4-day video. No, I think I mentioned this in making time for your goals video. The reason why I'm doing it like this is because I want to start treating my goals as a job. I want to start treating my goals as if they're a priority. And you cannot go into a job if you miss the time where you were supposed to go in. You can work overtime at a job, you can do more, but you can't be scheduled from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. and be like, oh, can I come in from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m.? No, you missed the time you were scheduled. And I think that's what I want to start doing for myself when it comes to certain goals, especially working out. Because one thing I do is procrastinate, especially if I don't have to do it at a certain time, because I always tell myself, well, I can do it later. I can do it later. And as we all know, those laters end up into never, because life happens. So that's how I kind of want to do it. And then I'm also doing it on specific days. For me personally, I want to start working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now, I did say tomorrow I'm going to the gym because it is the first day for this entire journey for me, and I kind of just want to start it off on a good foot. But I'm looking at that kind of like you working overtime. Like, as long as you work your hours, you can work overtime, but you can't be trying to work overtime and you ain't working hours already. So that's kind of like just for me to do. I'm still going to work out some way somehow the next day, whether that's the gym, whether that is me doing a workout online, whether that is me doing the treadmill downstairs. But yeah, there's that. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on. And then going into the second week, it is one more drainer that you're kind of going to get rid of. So I've already figured out what that is. It's me moving my Kindle app to my iPad. If you guys have been on my channel for a while, you guys know I am a avid urban romance girly book reader. And sometimes I can like literally read for hours on end. No eating, no nothing, just reading. And it's actually not healthy. So that's one of the things that I'm getting rid of. But then also pouring into myself. So finding ways and things to do to pour into myself that don't take away from myself. Because a lot of times my pour in things were just not that beneficial. Like a matcha. Matchas are good, but it got all the calories, and then it's really not that healthy. Don't get me wrong, matchas are healthier than like a coffee, but the way my matchas be looking, they be having all that cream, all that sugar, all that, and that's how I like them. And I'm not gonna force myself to drink them nasty. So, and that's also me spending money. So finding ways that are not always correlated to money. I mean, if you got the money to spend, who am I to tell you not to? I just don't got the extra money to spend right now. So that's one of the things that I'm doing, focusing on things that pour into me, and just put me in a better mind frame and a mind state. This sounds very weird, but Barnes and Noble, like if I'm home for too long, I have to go to Barnes and Nobles because I've already said it before. I cannot work at home. It's just not beneficial for me. I get very lazy. I get very like just not how I should be. So there's that. Sometimes too, there's playlists that I even have created for myself. I actually need to start meshing them together because I have different playlists for different things. But sometimes too, like I don't know about y'all, I guess you would call it a dance party, but like I literally would put on some music and I'm just like, let's go. Like as a child, I grew up in Miami. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Miami dance culture, but it's very, very, very big. And we had so many dances growing up, and literally, I listened to those dances from listen. I'm like from 2005 to like 2009, like all the we had, and it's the whole Florida, but Miami's not part of Florida. If you know, you know, we're our own thing. Oop. But anyways, so sometimes I put on that music and it makes me feel good, and sometimes I go on Pinterest. Now, Pinterest is a give or take. Sometimes it do motivate me a little bit, but then sometimes too, I'm just like, this is still social media. Like, you need to just, calm it down. So there's that. There definitely is that. Okay, right there. I used to always be in Fort Lauderdale too because one of my aunts lived there. So I used to always be in Broward. Yep. Is there any other questions that you guys have for me? How are you guys feeling? Are you guys starting tomorrow, September 25th? Are you guys starting a little bit later? And have you already joined the group chat? I know I made the group chat super, super, super late. Y'all, I did not understand how hard it was to create. I did everything myself. And I know you're probably like, what is everything? I had to create this. I felt like a whole engineer. I had to create this whole automated system for making sure that when y'all sign up, it's going to go to this leadership board so that y'all can be ranked. So every single week, y'all are going to be able to keep track of y'all progress. And then it was just so much. And I was just like, I didn't know it took this long. So I apologize about the group chat being late. But it's there. Also, please make sure that y'all please make sure that you guys, I know it's the first day or whatever, but there's two pieces to the group. Well, there's a lot of like sectors in the group chat. So there's like the general chat, there's resources. So let me describe them a little bit to you, because I'm looking at them now. So there is the general chat, and that is essentially where you guys are going to like connect with each other. That is where you're going to share progress, encouragement, just like chatting. And I do have a pinned comment basically telling you guys there is no negativity, there is no promotion. I'm so sorry. We can't just make it into like a, oh my God, buy my this, buy my that. Like, that's not what this is for. Sorry. There's a resources group like this is, and this is all within the chat. Like, chat has different rooms. So there's a resources group that will have the playlist, any videos I'm posting during this time period, worksheets, anything like that. And then there's a wins and progress group. So this is a kind of, if y'all can see, this is what it looks like. And these are the different rooms on here. So there's a wins in progress kind of room. And that is for any achievement that you want, big or small. So that is you saying, hey, I read this many pages today, I want to share it. Hey, I was this consistent, or this happened. And then of course I have the welcome with the announcements. So somebody said I wasn't able to join the group chat. Was there any reason why you weren't able to join? Because I also want to make sure people are able to join. So if you're not familiar with it already, let me tell you how you will be able to join the group chat. I mean, everybody's able to join, but if you don't have the link for it. So if you have signed up for any of my worksheets, you should be in like my email list, and you should have gotten that email. Make sure that you go to your spam folder. Make sure you go to your all socials folder and all email folder, depending on if you have Gmail, Outlook, all that other stuff, and see if you see it in there. You should have gotten it today, basically just saying, people who are starting the 25th, it starts tomorrow. Here's a link to the group chat and then the form to sign, because that is how it makes sure that it makes sure. Okay, you said, I'm so sorry. It doesn't take me to your group chat. It took me to the app, but not your group chat. Okay. Okay, so let me see if I can resend that. But that is how you make sure that you are given an ID. So you're given an ID number, and that is just how you would kind of like keep track of your progress, because every single week at the end of the week, you're just going to have like just short questions just to ask you, do you feel like you at least achieve 75% of the things that you said you would? Do you feel like you fell off? How do you feel like you're doing? And then it's going to be, I made it this way because this is me personally. I feel like a little bit of friendly competitiveness helps, because the way it works is you will be ranked, right? So it's 1 through whatever, but as long as you stay consistent, because you'll get points every single week. So there could be multiple people at number 1, multiple people at number 2. The whole idea behind this is because first and foremost, I want people to kind of feel like, dang, like I'm number 2, like let me keep staying consistent so that I don't drop rankings. But then also I want you to see, and this is all anonymous, because like I said, this will be grouped up by the ID number that you're given. Everyone is given a different ID number. This also will help you just kind of see how many people are consistent, and also how many people are falling off, because there's going to be people that are going to join, but I promise you, so many people are going to fall off. And though you don't want to be one of those people, I think sometimes it's good to be aware of those people, because sometimes you can see how far you come. It's easy for you to feel down about yourself and sad about yourself, because you're just like, oh, well, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. But then you like, dang, I made it to phase 2, or I made it to week 4, and like all these people dropped off, So there's that. So let me start reading the comments. Start tomorrow. Any managing tips on loneliness while in the 90 locking journey? So I'm going to speak about that. Okay, so sorry. I was trying to make sure that I had the link. Share link. Copy. Okay, so I'm going to send it to myself on my laptop, and I'm going to see if I can put it right here below in the group chat here. So tell me if you guys are able to see it. But talking about loneliness. So I actually am probably going to create a video discussing loneliness, because during this time period, a lot of people are going to experience that. And there's a double-edged sword to it, because there is a side of it that it's like it's necessary. It's kind of like a stripping of who you were in the past, right? There's this thing of like, so sorry. Pin the message. Okay, actually, let me unpin message. Sorry, I can't do two things at once. I'm trying to put the link to the group chat, but I want it to be like this, so when everyone joins, they know what this link is. Okay. So sorry about that. Dealing with loneliness. Like I said, I think there is a certain level that you have to understand it's going to be, because when you are leaving the person that you once were and you're becoming a new person, there is a level of loneliness that you have to accept because you don't know who that person is. And that's scary within itself. But then also, that person doesn't even know what it wants yet. I think sometimes, too, when we think about our dream self, we think that that person knows all the food she's going to eat and the people she's going to be around. And it's like, you don't. And so that means you're going to have to get rid of, maybe it's people you're around, maybe it's social media apps, maybe it's just a lot of the things that you were used to, and that is going to feel especially lonely in the beginning. And that's another reason why I did create the group chat, because I do understand that you're going to have to allow yourself to experience that. Like, be aware that's something you're going to experience, and be aware it's not necessarily the worst feeling in the world. It's not a good feeling, possibly, but it's not the worst feeling in the world, because that also is a sign that you're becoming a new person. Because to a certain extent, in my opinion, if you're not lonely, then that means you must be comfortable to a certain extent. Because if you think about it now, in order to be lonely, right, that means you have to be more so isolated. That means you have to be more so like not around people to a certain extent, not engaging with people. But then you have to ask yourself, are the people and the things that you're engaging with now helping you get to where you want to be? Are they even making you happy? And if they're not, you're going to have to accept a certain level of loneliness. But then I also want you to understand, loneliness doesn't necessarily mean that you're completely unengaged with people, you're completely unengaged with everything. That just means, first and foremost, that you're going into a new phase. But then also, though people always talk about the isolation era, yes, I possibly am going to create a video about that. And that's another reason why I'm creating the group chat. Like, you also should try to find people that are where you want to be. Because I think sometimes people clung too tight to the loneliness in a sense of like, oh, I have to do this by myself. And I have to, no, you just can't do it necessarily with the people that you used to do it with before. Like the certain experiences you used to have before. And I think people are so fixated on doing it alone and being lonely that it's like they miss the opportunity to be around people who think like them and want to experience life like them, and just so many things. So I would say, recognize first and foremost that you're going to go through a lonely phase, so that when it happens, it doesn't force you to cling to people and cling to things, because you're like, I already knew this was going to happen. But then at the same time, too, I want you to look for things that no longer make you feel lonely. But that means looking for new things. That means you can't always go to what once provided you comfort and which once provided you happiness, because you have to understand that's comfortability. And right now, that's probably what you want to get away from to a certain extent. Hopefully that made sense. In my head it did, but sometimes I say stuff out loud and I'm like, that didn't make sense. Kind of started with different things. It's been improving. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't know if I said your name correctly. Safaria, you said I kind of started September 1st, but there's definitely some things I'm going to be improving on. I definitely recommend to watch two videos. My most recent video talking about the phase one. I know you already started, but just if you can intertwine some of those things, talking about my phase one, the first 4 weeks, and then also talking about my 7 day, which is kind of for the people who weren't able to do the whole month long preseason, but they still want to start by a certain time. It just kind of condenses everything of what to do step by step by step. Someone says, how exactly does the 90 days work? So I'm going to try to explain it to you as small as possible, because I have a lot of videos on it and don't want to make it too long. But basically, it's broken into 3 phases: phase one, phase two, phase three. Every phase is 30 days. And there are certain things that you want to accomplish during each phase, such as detoxing old habits, building your new identity, and just getting into the repetition of doing that thing. But I have an entire playlist. So if you go to my channel, I have a playlist. I think it's called the Lock in 90. And I have the intro video talking about like every single phase and how it is. I recently created a video talking about phase 1 specifically. I have videos talking about how to break down your goals, how to literally make time for your goals within your schedule, and so many different things. So if you want the whole synopsis on that, I definitely would say go to that playlist. And at the end of every video, I do have a worksheet. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if everybody saw that. Someone said, so about the group chat, if you're having trouble with joining it, someone said once you set up your profile in the app, you go back to the email she sent and it should allow you to join once you click the link. So I was not aware of that. I'm going to see if I can edit that in the email because I'm not sure if everyone else is aware of that as well. But yeah, I've put in my email to receive updates and worksheets, but I'm not receiving them. Where can I find the link to sign up again? So, if you go to my post, so if you click on my channel, go to my post, I recently did link the group chat. But also please, like I said, make sure that you are looking in your spam folder, make sure you're looking in your email folder, and please make sure that you are looking in your all socials folder or something like that for different people. How do I join? So essentially, and this is something else, I get people want to join the group chat, I get people want to be a part of it. I recommend please watch the video so you understand what the group chat is about. It's not that I don't want people to join, but also there are people who have been watching the videos, have been keeping up. And so I also don't want you to kind of feel like a deer in headlights, like what is going on? What is this 90-day journey? So it is for everyone to join. I don't want anyone to feel excluded, but also at the same time too, I definitely recommend to watch videos in the playlist because it would explain it so much more and also help it be beneficial for you. Because the whole point of the group chat is to give you community, to help you have accountability and all these different things. But it's like, you also have to know why, like, why are you doing what you're doing? And like, what do you actually want to accomplish? Like, yes, of course, everyone wants to be a new person by January 1st and everyone wants to change their body and make more money. Like, we all want to do these things, but it's like, you have to figure out what does that look like for you and how you're going to do that. And so that's what the videos explain. Someone says, I filled out the Google document. Is there a follow-up email once completing? So once you fill out the Google document, what was it? I'm so sorry. I've had such like a long day. So once you fill out the Google document, you should get an email. Actually, yeah. Once you fill out the Google document, you should get a follow-up email, and that is how you will get your ID number. And like I said, see if it is in any of those folders or anything like that. Okay, I was able to join now. Okay, so yes, I would definitely put that in the email because I didn't know that you have to create a account and go back in, and I don't think everyone knows that as well. So I probably will adjust the email for that. What tips do you have for bad habits that are shared in proximity? For example, one person quitting any device or bad habit, but their spouse continues to do so loudly. Um, so it depends on obviously what it is. I think creating boundaries around that thing. So depending on what different people do, there was a time period where my best friend smoked. We lived together. I don't, and I really couldn't be around it for health reasons. So she would do it like outside on the balcony. And so it kind of created that like boundary with it. It's not me telling this other adult what they can't do, but it kind of was just like a, hey, can you not do this thing around me? But then also it comes with a certain level of respect, I think sometimes too, that people should have for you. And you should be able to say, as long as you have a healthy relationship, in my opinion, with anyone, to be able to say, hey, can you not do this around me? Or hey, can you do this in between this time or that time? Or just, creating boundaries around that thing. Because I think the worst thing you can do is tell somebody to stop and be like, stop doing this and stop doing that. Because just because you're ready to stop something doesn't mean someone else is. But I think they should respect you enough to be able to create boundaries around that thing. So I think that's up to you to just figure out what time do you not want them to do it, or in what room do you not want them to do it. That kind of will help you not always be around it. The group chat app is not available in my country. Okay, so I do apologize about that. I was not aware that the app is not available in every country. Moving forward, I will try to do something about that, but at this time, I'm so sorry. I have everything set up and like so many automations and stuff with that specific app. So currently right now, I apologize. I cannot make another app or use another app for the group chat, but moving forward, I will, take that into account and try to see if I can go on other platforms and different things like that. Your live just popped up on my For You page, and I took it as a sign to subscribe. Welcome to the family. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, if you guys have seen it. I've been posting a lot about, or like even the name of the group chat is called the Simple Complex. So currently, and I want to share this with you guys. I feel like I share everything with y'all. I am currently in the process of creating a brand called the Simple Complex. Please make sure that actually, I'm gonna link it below because why would I not link it? I'm going to link my Instagram for the Simple Complex. Please, please, please follow my Instagram because I want to create this all into a brand. Like I want to, of course, I love, creating content for you guys and YouTube videos, but eventually I do want to do something like events. Eventually I do want to just like make it into a full on brand, and kind of like how you guys are getting like the little worksheets sent to your DMs and stuff like that. Not your DMs, to your emails. Like I want everything to be full out. So the name of my brand is called the Simple Complex because in my opinion, I try my best to make complex ideas such as self-growth, self-improvement, confidence. I just feel like sometimes people make those things too complicated. Like it shouldn't be this complicated. So yeah, that is the whole idea, the framework for my brand. So like I said, I'm so sorry. I'm looking for the Instagram now because I want to send it in here right now. But that is the whole like thesis, I guess, if you will, for my brand. And that is currently what I'm doing. Let me get this here so I can copy it and paste it, so you guys can follow. And I am going to start posting on there more, but I'm also going to be posting like motivational stuff and tips and tricks and just stuff like that. So I just posted my Instagram link. Please make sure you go and follow that. Overcoming negative thoughts and worrying about things that won't work out. So it's so funny because I feel like I'm always mentally creating a video in my head, but I am creating a video about emotional intelligence and just dealing with, your thoughts. One of the things is realizing, and this is something I try to think about a lot, there isn't really as bad or good as we try to make it seem. There's this thing that we were taught, right? And I even sometimes call them display roles, certain way we were taught to display. Like if you fell off the monkey bars, what did your parents tell you? No, 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 don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. I just split my head open. What are you talking about? Don't cry. So then we put on this brave face. And then as we get older, what does that look like? That looks like your boyfriend breaking up with you. And then you going into work and you telling them, hi, how may I take your order? And you got a smile on your face, even though you want to cry. So we're taught display roles over time because we're taught people don't want to see us sad. People don't want to see us in negative emotions or negative feelings. But I think one of the problems with that is we keep that for ourselves. We subconsciously were taught not to show it to other people. But then I think sometimes too, we don't allow ourselves to be sad. We don't allow ourselves to be emotional. And I think overcoming negative thoughts is realizing first and foremost, those are your thoughts. Like you're thinking those things. So I think one of the things you can do is understand, well, you can think more thoughts. And I think sometimes you need to understand you can think about what you're thinking about. Like I'm trying to explain it so it makes sense, but you ever thought about something and you're just like, I shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't do that thing. And it's like you're thinking about a thought. Like you thought to do that thing, but you're like, I shouldn't do that thing. You never said nothing out loud, but you're going back and forth in your head. You're thinking about a thought. So you also can do that with your negative thoughts. You can recognize, hey, I'm having this negative thought, but also at the same time too, it's the action behind it, in my opinion, that makes it turn bad. Like you can think something negative, but how does that thing make you act? And if that thing makes you act in a way that you don't think is progressive for your life or pulls you down, then that is when you need to start helping yourself get more thoughts. I think we, especially after you get past a certain age, we often feel like consciously or subconsciously, whether we know it or not, this is it. I can't learn anymore. I can't experience anymore. Like, for the most part, this is it for me. And I think sometimes too, people need to understand you can learn more. Like, sometimes too, we have such negative thoughts because sometimes we're surrounded by such negative people, or we have such a negative upbringing, or even social media, like it's always negative stuff. And so, one of the things I want people to start doing more, in my opinion, is to start putting in things that make you feel good and finding those things too. Like, it's a journey. It's a journey. But at the same time too, like finding things that put you in a positive mood and positive thoughts, because the same way you can have negative thoughts, you can have positive thoughts, but don't try to push them out, because at the end of the day, they're still your thoughts. Like, you wouldn't have been thinking that thing if it wasn't you. So that's one thing I would say. And then also about worrying about things won't work out. The way I look at it is, your life is always going in a direction, whether you realize it or not. And sometimes when people are stagnant in life, they don't think their life is going in a direction. They're like, nothing is changing for me. I work the same job. Da, 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 da. If your life is stagnant, I think that's the same thing as your life going down. Because at the end of the day, if you work in the same job, you're not making no more money, you're not going to the gym, you're not doing anything to get your body together, what's going to happen? Your body's going to get more tired. You're going to gain more weight. You're going to get more lethargic. Bills are going to go up. Food prices, eggs around this time last year were like $7, y'all. Yeah, do y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Like $8, $9, $10 for 12 eggs. Life is gonna happen. And so I often ask people, like, do you want to be a, I guess, the on the side of, I should say, of life happening to you or life happening with you. Like, yeah, I'm moving along, and stuff is costing more, but I'm making more. Yeah, I'm moving along, and my body is, because as time goes on, our bodies deteriorate. That's just evolution. We can't help that. But I'm keeping my body up. Like, are you going along with life as it's going, and you're progressing, and you're doing things, or are you just allowing life to happen to you, and you're waiting for your big bill to come? You're waiting for your car to get in a car. Let me not put that on nobody, but like a tire pop, right? That's tires is expensive, essentially. So sometimes too, it's like, don't be so focused on the outcome of things. A lot of times be focused on more so, what are you inputting? Because sometimes too, there are people who do the things that you're supposed to do. You do all the things people say you're supposed to do, but you may not get the outcomes, especially when you think you should get them. But I always look at it as, and don't get me wrong, to a certain extent, yes, we all want to accomplish goals. I'm not sitting here saying that if you want to get your degree in 4 years, that you should be happy go lucky if it take you 5 years. No, you shouldn't. But also allow yourself during that experience to not dwell on it. Like, I'm not doing what everyone else is doing, and I'm not. And I think I said this before, but you, and I'm not trying to be one of those people that make bad situations to good. People that always try to look at the, like, make everything good. Like, no, this is not a good experience, but acknowledge it. Like, this is not a good experience, but what can I make out of this? So, okay, maybe a 4-year degree takes you 5 years. During this 5 years, what else can I do? Can I network with more people? Listen, you still a student. You can get money off of stuff. Okay, put my student discount on stuff. I could do internships still. Like, there's certain things that you can do with, and I know that was very specific, but with any experience that you have. And so I think sometimes too, when you focus too much on, oh, what if it doesn't work out like this, or how long is it going to take, you rob yourself of actually being in that experience of the thing. But then also, like I said, life goes on. So sometimes I don't worry necessarily about the outcome of every single thing, because I think about it like this: is this thing going to put me in a better position tomorrow than I am in today? And if it is, maybe I don't get the results exactly when I want them, exactly how I want them, but I'm not going to feel how I felt today. So hopefully that helps. But like I said before, um, it's life. Like, we're going to have expectations on ourselves sometimes, and we're going to, be let down by ourselves sometimes too. But I think sometimes it's about how long you allow yourself to be down. And also, it's about what you do during that time period. Like, what are the actions? Like I said before, you can have negative thoughts and, intrusive. I've been thinking about that word. I couldn't get it. And you ever have an intrusive thought? You're like, I want to, nah, I shouldn't do that thing, And it's like, it happens, and don't be mad at yourself for it. But it's just like, find things you can replace it with, but then at the same time too, allow yourself to experience emotions, but don't allow yourself to act in a way that you wouldn't be proud of because of them. That's what you need to be more focused on, the actions that you make, not necessarily always the thoughts that you have, even though they do go hand in hand, but there's that. Someone said, do we need to join the group chat to do this challenge? Not necessarily. So the group chat is really about accountability. So the challenge is more so of on your own. Because I wasn't specifically sure of like how to make it into like a specific kind of way, if that makes any sense. So the challenge itself is you kind of doing it on your own. That's why every single video for the challenge has a worksheet at the end, so you can kind of like be aware for yourself and build it out for yourself. The group chat is just for like accountability, helping people keep up progress, and just that community type thing, but it's not necessary for the challenge. Like if someone doesn't want to, if someone doesn't want to join the group chat, it's not like you can't do the challenge on your own, because that is what that is. So, yep. Is there any other questions? I'm trying to think anything else. So tonight, what am I doing? I am doing a Sunday reset, and tomorrow is Thursday. So I'm just doing a little bit of stuff, like probably making eggs for like 2-3 days. I think I already got some quinoa in there, so I'm not doing too much as far as. I'm sorry, y'all. I just thought about it. I think I left some frozen broccoli on the kitchen table. Okay. But I'm not doing too much. I'm just trying to really sustain myself till Sunday, and then Sunday is going to be my Sunday reset where I'm going to prep everything for the week. Can I private message you in the group chat? I need advice on something that's a bit more personal. So I'm not specifically sure if you could private message me. I'm not sure how that works, but I do have an advice email. So if you go to any of my videos, there should be there below advice emails, and that is honestly what these lives are usually for. So if this is your first time even joining my live, for anyone, I usually try to go live every other Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And the whole idea behind this is because people sometimes do want more specific kind of advice, and I give advice. It's completely anonymous. I don't say your name. I like doing that because even though things are specific, a lot of times people are going through similar things to you, and I create content for a large range of people. So I try to stay as specific as I can on a broad topic. You get what I'm saying? So most people can connect to it. But on my lives, usually what happens is people email me advice, things that they're going through, things that they need help with. And then that is where I give specific kind of advice. And like I said, it's completely anonymous. I do not say your name, your email, nothing like that. I just give you advice. But then another thing is too, you guys, love you guys to death, but some of y'all spend like 2 emails worth of advice, and it's like, girl, like, I'm in school for psychology. Like, I don't get my degree for like another 11 months. Like, this sounds like something for a therapist. Okay, I'm just saying. Some of them be kind of long. Love you guys, but some of them be kind of long. But yeah, any other things, thoughts? Also, if you guys are interested in my journey of kind of like what brought me here, as far as here, if you guys know what I'm talking about, I actually have a video on my page talking about, it's like a 4-minute video. I posted it a couple days ago. I think I posted like Monday. So yeah, it's a kind of a vulnerable video of me talking about my life and how I had a business and I lost it and health problems and all that. So I definitely recommend to check out that one. I'm new here. I'm excited to join the challenge. The way you break down goal setting makes sense so much. Sorry, makes so much sense to me. I appreciate you sharing the challenge. No problem. It's so funny. The challenge idea actually started for myself. I just decided to put it on here, but it's funny because that's actually how my entire YouTube page started, with me just rambling on here about stuff that I would just read in books and podcasts that I found to be interesting. But I am very much so on myself about the next 90 days and things that I want to do. And I talk about it. It's so funny. I just mentioned it, kind of like a prelude, but I actually talk about it in the little 4-minute video that I have on my page from like I think, yeah, I think I posted it like on the 20th, or no, the 22nd or something like that. Um, but just talking about what led me to the 90-day journey, because it was a consecutive amount of events that led me to doing this thing. And so I decided that, I mean, like I do everything, I just was going to break it down and make it week by week and chunk by chunk. And I'm kind of like, wait, Shamaya, this is kind of what you already do on YouTube. So you might as well share it with people. So that is where this is from. I'm getting my MA in psychology. It really has played a major role in my wellness journey. I'm super excited for the next 90 days. Well, congratulations to you. Yes. Yes. I'm currently going to back to school for psychology with a concentration in mental health. So that's super duper exciting. I haven't been in school in a little bit. It's been a journey, but definitely a new experience. It's definitely been beautiful. Someone said I watched it today and it was similar to what I experienced a year ago. I had to move back to my parents' house from living in California for over 4 years, starting my entrepreneur journey. Yes. Yeah, it is very humbling. But I think sometimes it's necessary. And I heard this quote. I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. What is the comedian who, he's a white man, he's a comedian. He played Mask in that movie, like the Green Mask. I think the movie is literally called The Mask. I can't remember his name. I don't know why I can't remember his name. But he made a Jim Carrey, thank you. He made a comment one time and he basically said something to the effect of, if you are not willing to downgrade your life for, he either said 6 months or a year, or he might have said 6 months to a year, you care too much about what people think about you. And I think that's been something that has been ringing in my mind for a very long time, because I did care too much about people thought about me. And I think too many people are literally surviving. Like you literally day by day, and you wonder why you're not happy, and you wonder why. And it's like, because you are afraid every single day you wake up. Like you're afraid, oh my God, if my tire pops, I'm not even gonna know how to pay for it. Oh my gosh, if a new bill come out, I'm not gonna know to pay for it. Like you're so, thank you, Danica. But you're so afraid. And it's like, I was living for that fear for so long. Like it's people living off their savings, it's people trying to do anything to literally get by. And it's like, sometimes you need to demote your life. Like, and it's no shade to anyone. I get everyone goes through different kind of things. And if you can't, you can't. But I think more people can than they will realize. I think it's just embarrassing. I think it's very humbling to move back home. I think it's very humbling to get a older car, or to move into a smaller apartment, or to move, like it's a lot that comes with it, which I'm very much so aware of because I'm living in it at this moment. But I think it's very freeing. And I think you don't want to wait until it's too late. And it literally, like, I don't think people understand, stress can kill you. Like it can literally kill you. And I was in the hospital time after time, doctor after doctor, and they couldn't figure out what's wrong with me. And then I was like, it clicked to me, Shamaya, you're stressed. Like, especially depending on how you grew up and where you came from. And I feel like I've lived off survival for a very long time, that it just became normal to me. Like the jitters, or the thought of like, I just gotta do it. And I thought that was me being strong for a very long time. Like I'm strong and I could do this for myself and I could do everything by myself and I can. And that was for me, honestly, a weakness that I didn't want to acknowledge. It was a weakness in me being afraid of depending on people. It was a weakness of me being afraid of what will my life look like if I'm not the one steering it, if I'm not the one, because that's how I was raised, off of survival, of being strong. And so letting go of that strength, letting go of who I thought I was. And it took a lot. But I think at the same time, too, a lot of people have to realize, like, what's your ego? Your ego is essentially how you think people think about you. And to a certain extent, you always have an ego. I think people sometimes say ego in a negative way. So it seems like, oh, that's bad. But it's like your ego is essentially what you think people think about you. And I think sometimes, too, if your ego is too inflated, or I wouldn't even say too inflated, too off. I mean, inflated too, but I think some people's ego is too off. Like, that's not who you truly want to be. That's not who you truly are. But you put on this facade and this face and this thing for people because it's like, I don't want people to look at me differently. And I don't want people to think, and I don't want people to think. But it's like, one thing I often say, and it sounds kind of sad, but like, after your funeral, the people who love you the most, sometimes even at your funeral, they have to go to doctor's appointments. They're going to go to birthday parties. They're possibly even going to go on vacation. And why should they not? Not in a disrespectful way, but in a way of, why should anybody's life stop because yours did? And it sounds sad, and but it's kind of like, why should you stop your life because anyone else has stopped? It does not mean people are not going to mourn you. And it does not mean you are not allowed to mourn other people. But you have to understand, all these people, with you being here and not, even the people who love you the most and care about you the most, they still have to go to work. Can't nobody say, oh, well, I know it's been 6 months, but boss, I can't go into work. My sister, boss, I know it's been 12 months, but I can't go into work. My mother, they still have bills to pay, a life to live. And like I said, it's not to make you feel any less than or to make you feel like you're not important. But I think at the same time, too, it's like, you're so fixated on people caring about what you do or you think. And honestly, most times you fixated on people who really don't even care about you. But the people that care about you the most still have to live their life. And so that means, even if you do fail at that business, even if you do move to another state and you got to move back, even if it doesn't work out, nobody cares. And it's not saying they don't care at all, because people are going to judge you. Like, that's going to come with it. Don't not think that. People going to judge you. People going to talk junk. I'm sure people were talking junk about me since I moved back. But at the same time, too, it's like, they're still going to have to live their life. It doesn't affect them. And I just sometimes had to think about that. Like, dang, no matter what happens to me, even if the worst thing that could possibly happen to me, this whole thing ending, people's lives still don't go on. Why would I stop my life while I'm still here for people whose lives are going to still be going if my life stops? Something I cannot choose to happen, their lives are still going to keep going. So why would I stop my life by choice, like it's going to affect them? It's not. It's really all in your head. And I don't want to say it like that because it makes it sound so easy. It's all in your head. But it's like, a lot of times it is. Like, you late on your rent, you struggling and making ends meet, you staying up to get your degree, you doing all these other things. Who is there for you? A lot of these people are not. And it's like, but you want to make sure you look good for them. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Somebody said, literally trying to hold on to an image that isn't working for them. Too many people not being real about the life of success and how to maintain it in a healthy way. And I think also people have to understand, there's different definitions of even being real. Because I think sometimes too, you have to acknowledge, maybe something did work for you for a certain amount of time. Like, maybe something was, and I think that even affected me for so long, because there was a certain way that I lived my life and things that I did that put me in a good position, right? An identity that I built up. But you have to build a relationship with yourself to understand when things are no longer beneficial for you. And I think sometimes too, you have to understand, just because something worked during a time period doesn't mean it's going to work forever. Just because when you first got that job, you were able to pay your rent and go on vacation, that doesn't mean that you can still work. And it's not saying you should quit that job, but maybe that means you need to get a certificate, or maybe that means you need to see about getting a raise, or see what is it going to look like for you to climb the ladder in that job. Like, just because something worked for you at one period of time does not mean that things going to work forever. When you are 20 years old, you can drink, you can smoke, you can do all these other things and literally wake up the next day and be fine. I know. I went to college. Okay. I used to drink so many different drinks. That now, y'all, I went to the carnival last week. I had a cider, right? A spark cider, and I had one of them little Truly drinks. When I tell you guys, the worst headache ever. The worst headache ever. I can't mix drinks. I'm 25 years old. I say that to say, like, you can't always do what you did before, but I wasn't mad. I accepted it. I cannot do what I used to do before. Cannot do that. Accept it. Something once worked for you. Something was really you. It was real for you. evolve from that thing. And that can be people, that can be jobs, that can be life experiences. Like, my definition of the real Shamia is not the definition of who the real Shamia was 5 years ago. And it's like they both were the same Shamia essentially, but it required me to evolve. And that evolvement meant trying new things and finding out what I like and I didn't like. But the premise of it, in my opinion, was realizing what wasn't working and realizing where I wasn't happy, and then trying literally anything that I possibly thought could make me happy. And realizing some of those things could, and realizing some of those things couldn't, and make an executive decision from there. Someone said, anyone who are highly sensitive and need a bit of help with fear. I got this book from the library. It's called DBT Skills for Highly Sensitive People. Okay, I might check that one out. Definitely might check that one out. Priorities messed up. Yeah, that's another thing too. A lot of people priority, and I'm speaking from somebody who priorities was messed up for a long time too. So I'm not speaking from a, on top of my white horse. My horse got some spots on it actually, but I think sometimes too, and this is one thing that I often recommend people to do, and even during during the 90-day journey, one of the things I want people to start doing is a Sunday reset. Now, I said Sunday because most people do work Monday to Friday, but if that's not your schedule, of course, adjust it based for you. But one of my Sunday resets, and I recommend a lot of people to do, is financially, like looking at your finances and really being aware of where you're spending money the most. Because I think sometimes too, people have their priorities messed up because they literally don't even understand what they prioritize or what that looks like for them. Like, a lot of people will say, well, I don't care. That thing not that important to me. Well, I don't care about this. I don't care about that. Go to that bank account. Let's go to that bank account and let's see. Because people real quick to say they don't got money for this and they don't got money for that, especially when it comes to investing in themselves. People are so fearful of losing out. Oh, what if I start this business and it doesn't work? What if I try this gym journey and it doesn't work? People are so fearful of investing in themselves, but day to day, invest in things that get them farther away from the life they want to live. And then they wake up in the morning like, why am I happy? Why am I overweight? Why am I broke? Why am I this? And it's like, oh, I could tell you, because you spend money on this, that, because you spend time on this. And it's like, sometimes too, I think people priorities are messed up because they're literally not aware. But I think another key aspect, if a lot of people want to be honest, is sometimes some people just don't know. And I think that's another reason why I even created my channel and my page, because even coming from where I come from, like the family that I come from, like, it's a lot of people that aren't aware of like the things that they're doing and the life that they're living. And it's because it's been going on for generation after generation. Like, I'm very much so a statistic, right? My father sold drugs. My mother was a single mom that got pregnant with me as a teenager. Like, I'm so many statistics. And many of my family members are statistics. But as I've gotten older, um, and this is and I say this in the most respectful way. I don't want to think that I'm anybody to think, because I know my family watches my channel, but even if they didn't, I don't want anybody to think that I think I'm better than anybody, because I'm not at all. But at the same time, too, I think I'm very open to new experiences. I'm very open to new things. And I think one thing about me is I moved around a lot. Like, in my family, I can honestly say I probably, especially for my generation, I moved around the most. Like, I lived in Miami, I lived in Baltimore, I lived in Connecticut, I did a very small stint in Detroit. So it's like I moved around a lot. I've experienced different socioeconomic classes. I've experienced different people from different races and just so many different things. And I think it's heightened my awareness, because I've realized, hey, you don't have to live like this. But I feel like sometimes for people that have been living one way their entire life, everybody around them for the most part have been living the same way. It's like, this is life. Like, this is life for us. Like, this is how we live and this is what we do. And it's like, no, you know that you don't have to live like this. You know that it's possible to do this and it's possible to do that. But it's like, if people never seen that and experienced that, or don't know that that's possible, to them, people can say that person priorities are messed up. But in their mind, they're like, what else would I be prioritizing? Like, they literally don't know. And like I said, been around town. That's why I think I even created my channel, is to share my knowledge and my experience and just help stop rambling all the time and put it into a concise form. But then also, even with, like I said, me building my brand, the simple complex, is because I want to make these abstract things simple. And that's why even for, some of my videos, I even use whiteboards. And tell me if you guys like that, if I should start doing that more. But literally breaking down things like confidence and consistency and things that seem abstract. Like you can't touch confidence, you can't touch consistency, you can't touch happiness, and literally breaking it down to people as if it is a math problem, which is so funny because I actually hate math. In a way that makes it simple, because a lot of this stuff is simple. It's not easy. I always say it, it's not easy. That's why it's not called the easy complex. It's called the simple complex. There's things that you need to do in order to achieve these things, but a lot of these things are a lot simpler than I think people want to acknowledge. Um So yes, so there has been a issue with the app for different countries. I do apologize, and I said moving forward, I am going to try to um, figure out different apps and different things like that, because I was not aware that it was banned in certain countries or not allowed in certain countries at this time period. I do apologize. I can't, because I do have a lot of automations and stuff set up with it on the back end that it will require a lot of work to undo. So, like I said, moving forward, I am going to try to be aware of that. But at this time, I do apologize. I cannot change it off of that app. I do apologize. Um, Someone said I witnessed the same thing when my parents moved us from overseas, military child, back to the States, and everyone mindset was told tunnel vision or environment and how they grew up. Yes. And it's so funny. I guess to give a little bit of insight on my life. So in my earlier life, I did live in Miami, but and I'm not gonna say who the person was, but long story short, one of my aunts. So my mom has what, 6 sisters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, mine has a lot of sisters. I mean, my mom, sorry. My mom has like 6 sisters, and my mom is like the second oldest girl. So a lot of younger sisters. And so I grew up a lot with my aunts. And like I told you, my mom got pregnant when she was a teenager. So my aunts were young when I grew up. And having fun outside. One of my aunts dated a celebrity. Not going to say who it was, not that serious. But she dated a celebrity, and sometimes we'd be at that celebrity's house, and this was in Miami. And this celebrity had like a Rolls Royce, and he lived in a mansion, and like all these other things. And that experience, even though I didn't live there, at the end of the day, I still went back home to the hood. Okay. Um, but being able to see that, especially before social media. Like this is back when people only saw mansions and Lamborghinis and all this other stuff on One His Park. Like that was the only time I was gonna see it on a music video. And so it's like me seeing it, not only me seeing it, me being around people and talking to people that's living like this, like it helped me understand that this is possible. And I think experiences like that, I didn't understand that people literally don't think things are possible for them. Like a lot of people make posts on social media like, oh, I'm gonna get my life, not even get my life together. Let's not even talk about that. They make posts on social media like, I'm gonna get a jet and I'm gonna have a Birkin and I'm gonna have all these expensive, outlandish things. And they don't really believe it. Like they just post it because it looks good. They just post it because it sounds good. But deep in their heart, they don't really believe it. And I think one difference with me between a lot of people is I genuinely believe the things that I say, what I'm going to accomplish, what I'm going to do. Like the simple complex is going to be a 7-figure brand. But I can also say that because I've been around people who are millionaires. I've been, and as a kid. So, and people that look like me, and people that talk like me, and people that grew up in the hood. So it's like, and I didn't realize that, but experiences like that changed my perception of what is actually possible. And so, even talking back to like my family and stuff like that, like I'm aware of why a lot of people don't think they can make it out, because a lot of people haven't seen nothing else. And if they did, it was from some celebrity on TV, or it was like some, like nothing that they felt connected to. And so, yeah, I do realize that. I do realize a lot of people do have a tunnel vision of like life. And I think it's unfortunate, but sometimes it's based upon their parents. Like my mom grew up in this neighborhood, my dad grew up in this neighborhood, and this is where I'm gonna end up. And like people be in the hood for generations on generations of generations. And it's like, of course, nobody has a child. And when they have that child, they're like, you're gonna grow up in the same neighborhood I grew up in, and you're gonna, but they subconsciously do that with the things they allow their children to be around and how they talk to their child and experiences honestly that their child have. And they make their child as tunnel vision as them. But at the same time too, it's kind of hard to, and I'm not trying to not put blame on people, because at the end of the day, when you have kids, you have to be aware you are preparing these kids to be citizens in the world. But at the same time too, a lot of those parents were once kids that was raised the same way, and it becomes a very toxic cycle of just tunnel vision and people really not thinking they can make it out. Thank you. Someone said, I love your content. Someone said, oh, I didn't even see what you said, Denise. You're so true. I used to be able to stay up late night and party and get up 4 to 5 hours of work. Get up in 4 to 5 hours of work. Now I have a kid and more responsibilities. My body naturally shuts down at 10 p.m. daily. Yeah, I went to Houston last month. Was it 2 months ago? Something like that. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Auntie, I have not partied like that in a while. I mean, back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I was like, whew, I can't, like, I don't even, like, I don't want to see liquor no more. I don't want to drink no more. I don't want to, like, but in college, you know, you know, our societal norms shape our perspective. That's why it's so important to expose yourself to different spaces, people, and experiences. Yes, definitely. That's why I tell people all the time, like, and even sometimes too, this can seem counterproductive or not productive at all, but even sometimes too, people you don't like, but maybe have experienced things that you want to. In a recent video that I'm uploading tomorrow, actually, please make sure that you are following me so you're aware of that video. But I talk about something from Elon Musk. And though I'm not particularly a fan of a lot of stuff that he says, it's just like, even though I'm not necessarily a fan of the person, you can learn things from them. And I think sometimes too, we become too like connected to things that we're not really connected to now for social media. And it's like, I don't like this person, but it's like, you don't like this person. Okay. But they became a multi-millionaire. And I talk about it all the time, but Donald Trump, like people can say whatever they want about Donald Trump, right? I don't like him, whatever. Listen, you ain't saying nothing but a thing. But I think you would be crazy not to see how crazy it is that he came into power. And then once you start reading on him or watching or anything like that, you start learning it was very strategic. It was kind of just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing if it stick. But the certain things that he did, and even his whole campaign of Make America Great Again and all this other stuff, like it's done in a way that from the outside looking in, if anybody else would have did that, somebody that you quote unquote liked, you would love them. So I see, and I always talk about, I see why people love him, but that don't mean I do. But at the same time, and I don't mean things I think he does is right, but I think I can see how he came into power and some of the things that he did. Not saying all those things were right necessarily, but I think sometimes too, we get so fixated on like they did this and they did that. And it's like, but you can learn things. Maybe he talked about, this business that he had, and then he noticed it was sinking because this, that, and then he shifted and like and I know he probably wasn't the best example for some people. If that made you feel uncomfortable, I apologize. But I had to learn, like, helping broaden my perspective is learning from people or learning about people that I necessarily don't have the greatest opinion about. Because I think sometimes too, people say so tunnel vision because you only try to learn the perspectives of people that you like and you all this other stuff. And it's like, that's good. But at the end of the day, to a certain extent, if you like somebody, that means you're going to engage with their content. That means you're going to constantly, and the way For You pages work and the algorithm works, it wants to keep you on any platform longer. So as long as you're engaging, you're staying for the videos, you're liking, they're going to show you more of that. But you have to understand the people that you don't like, the people that you aren't engaging with, they're not going to show you that at all. And a lot of people's lives have become algorithms. Like you only see what you want to see. You only hear about what you want to hear about. And it's like, you don't even understand there's a whole different part of life. Like I learned that with TikTok. There is so many different sides of TikTok. Like my best friend used to be like, "Oh my gosh, you saw this video, it was viral. Oh my gosh, you saw this." And I said, "Oh, you on so and so TikTok? Oh, you on that kind of like?" It's just so, and that's life, and that's just describing it on one platform. Someone said, "I've never been around people of color worth millions, but I've always knew I was meant to live a life full of abundance and having things in place for me when I have kids." Yes, and that's that too. Also, as well, like I don't want people to think like, oh, you have to experience that. I just wanted to give my personal experience because I think that did help me because in my life, like I said, I did live in very different socioeconomic backgrounds. So I've lived in like the hood of the hoods of America, but then I also have experienced some like suburbs, and then I've also experienced being around Black millionaires and just different things like that. And I think, especially at such a young age, by the time I was 10, I probably had lived in like 10 different cities, and just jumping around. Like I experienced a lot that I think most people probably experience by the time they're 45. And it's like just from being in different places, seeing different things. So I saw and heard the mindset of people who grew up in the struggle and their family has been struggling for 5 generations and they don't think they're gonna make it out. I've heard the mindset of people who grew up in the struggle, but now they're millionaires. I've heard the mindset of people that been middle class their entire life and they were like, I heard so many different things, and I think that ultimately helped shape my perspective as well. Someone said, yes, like I grew up in the city and I've been around a lot of different experiences and etc. But living in a small town, not everyone definitely seems to have a certain mindset. Yeah. And it's sometimes scary. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like now I'm back in Connecticut. And I'm not gonna tell you guys specifically where, because Connecticut's already pretty small. But the mindset of so many people here, like, and I'm not in a rush because I got to do what I got to do. And I want to make sure when I leave, I'm stable and I don't move to a different state in a different city in survival mode again. But it's so scary. Like, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but the mindset that so many people have here is like I think the lifestyle that so many people here are comfortable with is a little scary to me because it's just like the way certain a lot of people act here, it's like you never think you're gonna make it out. Like it's just certain things that people do, and maybe I have a little bit more of awareness because I am into psychology and sociology, so I pay attention to different things, possibly a little bit more. I don't know, or maybe just because I left and now I'm looking back, but also not really from here my entire life. So I digress. But people like, and sometimes it's really sad because don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should want to leave here. Like if you want to stay here, stay. But there's so many people I know that's struggling, and it's like the day-to-day habits they do, like, and I try not to make people think that I think I'm better than them. And I also try not to, I like to help people, but I also never want people to feel like I'm belittling them or their situation. So I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do hold my tongue, but unless you ask me for advice. Now, if you say explicitly, Shamaya, I want your advice situation, I won't help. I don't belittle people like you dumb, you stupid. I don't do stuff like that. But I'm gonna tell you about where you are and help you be aware. And it's just a lot of people here. It's just like, you're not making sometimes it's sad because a lot of people I love, but it's like, you're not making it out, right? Like the stuff that you're doing, the stuff that you like, this is not sustainable for life at all. But people don't realize that. Someone said, I'm literally in CT2 at my dad's. That's crazy. I'm trying to get out. Yeah, girl. Yeah, it's, yeah. Are you, maybe I shouldn't, I don't care. Are you in the 860 or the 203? I'm in the 860. I feel like the 203 is a little bit more, stuff to do. 860 is, there's that. I'm back on the East Coast, North Carolina, with my fiance, and the mindset of people in the South is one-sided. I live in Georgia for over 13 years. I think it's, yeah, I think sometimes too is based upon who you are when you are in certain regions as well. Um, I know sometimes too people do have this mindset like the up north is fast and it's productive and da da da. But one thing I'm also learning too, like you can be going real fast in the wrong direction. Like sometimes people are so fixated on like the fast life and doing things fast. And I think sometimes too, people think of the South as being slower. And I think there's an equilibrium to both, like, balance. Um, but sometimes too, these people be going fast in the wrong direction, but it just look good because they doing it fast. But then it's like when you actually sit down, you be like, wait a damn minute. You really not doing nothing. You just doing it fast. It's not right. So there's that. Someone said, sorry, advice for women entrepreneurs who have visions and goals, but also dealing with toxic relationship. So it depends on what you mean on toxic relationship. Is it like a friendship, like a platonic type topic, toxic, sorry, relationship? Is it a familial, like family, or is it a relationship as far as romantic? Familial are harder to cut off, especially, you know, if you're in the same house with your family. Um, when it comes to friends or a man, I think one of the best things you can do for yourself is, and this is, oh, I feel like a lot of this stuff in this video has been like a prelude for something else. Get off the train that is going in the wrong direction so you are not going to go in that direction even longer. A lot of people know that they're in toxic relationships. They know they're in toxic environments. That could even be a job. That could be so many different things. But we tell ourselves, but I've been here for 5 years. I've been with this person for 4 years. And there's this thing of kind of just being like, you don't want to lose kind of what you feel like you have, even though you don't really enjoy it. And then you feel like it's regret because we subconsciously think about, or consciously, what I could have been doing. If I wasn't with him, I could have been doing this. If I wasn't at this job, I could have been doing that. And I think that's what you have to let go. You have to let go of the could have, because I want you to understand, as long as you are in a relationship that you know is holding you back from the person that you want to be, it is going to make you resent that person even more, and ultimately resent yourself. Because finally, when you are able to stand up and leave and stand for yourself, you're going to look back, and today is going to be nothing. Like, you may look back now and be like, I could have did this, I could have did that. By the time you leave years later, you're going to wish you made that decision today. And I'm not saying it as if it's easy. I'm not saying it as if it's like, girl, just do it, just get it done with. But at the same time too, I think that's why it's so important to have solid goals for yourself and pay attention to the habits in your life getting you closer or farther away from those goals. And then also, people sometimes don't want to acknowledge it, but sometimes write down what your life will look like if you don't accomplish that goal. Like, if you don't get a new job, if you can't move out of a new environment, like certain things like that. Like, people don't want to think about those things, but it's like life is going to go on. Like, do you want to raise kids in that environment? If that's something that you want to do, of course. Do you want to, like, and that could be an environment, could be a lot of things. It could be financial, it can be environment physically where you are. But I think sometimes too, we get so used to something that we stop acknowledging that we aren't happy, because to a certain level it becomes comfortable, and not comfortable in a sense of I like it, comfortable in a sense of I'm used to it. And I think sometimes people live their life on, like, they give themselves the bare minimum. They allow themselves to receive the bare minimum to the point where that becomes the standard for them. Like, your standard becomes the bare minimum because you practice what you preach, essentially. So it's like, if you allow this person to treat you like this and, make you feel this way, or whatever the case may be, I want you to understand that is who you become. That becomes your identity. So you don't speak up at work. You don't try. And that's, like you said, the correlation. It's a correlation between the two. You want to become entrepreneur. You have a vision and goals for yourself. But since you can't even stand, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful, I know I can come off a bit passionate, but because you can't even stand up for yourself on an emotional type tip, your body literally will not even let you stand up for yourself when it comes to goals. Because it's like, girl, you don't really care about starting that business. You don't really care about getting out of this job. You don't really care about making more money, whatever the case may be. And you may say to yourself, I want this. And you can cry about it. You can even scream about it on the top of the mountaintops. But your brain's rebuttal will always be, then why are you still with this person? If you care so much about getting ahead, you first have to let go. See, if you try to swim to the top inside of a pool, you cannot swim to the top if you still have a brick tied to your foot. Some people are so focused on, how can I get to the top? I just want to get to the top. And the top look different for everybody. But it's like, you still got that brick on your foot. You so focused on getting to the top, and you don't notice all this time you wasting, literally tiring yourself out year after year, time after time, trying to swim to the top. The whole time your body is waiting for you to take that brick off your foot. You think it's something wrong with you. No, it's that thing holding you back. Yeah, I know that was a lot, but what do you recommend we do the first days to start? So I do have a video which is titled The Great Lock-In, first 4 weeks. So it's kind of like a pink thumbnail. You'll see it on my page. And that is what you should do for the first that is what you should do for the first 4 weeks, which is the first 30 days, which is phase 1. Someone said, I swear experiences and mine is very similar. I'm glad I came across your channel. Thank you. You guys, one day I really want to meet y'all. One day I really do. One day I really do. Because I like being around like-minded people. And sometimes I be feeling like I'm too, Because the thing is, though, I like having fun. Like, do not get me wrong. I don't want nobody to think like I'm a goody two-shoes. When it's time to having fun, I have a ball every time. But when it's time to lock in, I also know how to lock in. So I think sometimes it's been like a hindrance for me because I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people, especially my age, can't do both. Like, and I feel like a lot of people my age are more so like they will have a ball, they have fun, tell you about their night, but it's like it comes to your goals and people get like, and it's like, girl, you just talked about doing a split in a section and you ended up on a head top and it's like, by all means, do that. Show me how to do it so I can do it next time too. But why, when it comes to like, and I'm also not one of those people, I try not to be telling people goals they should have. Like, none of my friends are entrepreneurs. None of my friends are content creators. That is fine. But I like being around people that are doing things for themselves. Like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go in your life? And, it's slim pickings. Someone said, my therapist always tells me there is direct conflict between my goals and the actions I take on a daily basis. So I'm here for the 90-day lock-in. Yes, I love that. I love that. And I think, and that's why I keep saying a word. That's probably, I don't got no tattoos, but if I would, possibly would be the word awareness. That's why I think the biggest thing is awareness. Like, just being aware of like, because so many times, like, I realized I was in the blind because I wasn't aware. Like, that's really what the whole tea was. Like, it was just like, I just didn't know what I was doing was bad. I just didn't know what I was doing was keeping me down. But the only problem is, it's kind of like ignorance is bliss. So then it's like, now you know what you're doing is bad. And it's like, girl, stop. And it's like, but I don't want to. I want to text him back. But it's like, girl, you shouldn't text him back. Y'all, I'm actually getting my phone number changed, which I've been halting because I have so much stuff associated with it, just as far as like, when you sign up for stuff and they be like, oh, you forgot your whatever, and it's like, send me a text message. So I've been halting it, but I really, 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 really need to change my phone number. I have the same phone number since I got my first phone. I'm not even the same woman I was last year. Why do people who knew me when I got my first phone still have contact to me? Don't like that. Need to change my number. I'm an 860 girl, and I agree 203 has more stuff to do for sure. My boyfriend is 203, so I visit him. Oh, yeah, even 860. Yeah. It's nothing to do. It's really nothing to do. Like, I took my mom out to eat because she got a new job. Girl, nowhere to go out to eat. We had to go all the way to the 203. Was it 860? No, that's 203. To like go to like a nice restaurant that wasn't like a chain restaurant. And I'm like, come on, it's literally nothing. It's literally nothing. Someone said, I knew my previous marriage of 4 years was so unhealthy, but because I refused to acknowledge that my ex-wife wasn't the healthiest one for me, so I divorced her. My life did a complete 180. And that's what it is. You have to let go to grow. Someone said, I'm already doing a 75 medium, but adjusting it to my existing habits and improving at a daytime. Yeah, I tried to do. My only issue with challenges, and there's nothing wrong if that's like what you do, 75 hard, 75 medium. And it depends on what you want to accomplish. I always say different strokes, different folks. Just where I want to be in life, I want to build up an identity and I want to build up sustainable habits. And I feel like, and this is no shade to you, I don't want you to think I'm like targeting you, because I'm not. But the reason why I'm choosing not to do the 75 hard and I'm instead doing like the 90-day whole thing is because I want it to be a build up. So like every phase is kind of like a build up of each other. Like I start doing this and then I start small and then I build up to this and then I let go of this. Like it's a step by step. One issue that I had with the 75 hard, with 75 medium, is essentially you doing the same thing every single day. And it's just life. Like the first day you do something, you're not as strong as the 50th day you do something. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like the 75 hard is good for achievement. Like if you feel like I just want to achieve something, I want to build my confidence to say I did something. Yes, I just don't think it's sustainable. And that's why I kind of wanted to do the 90-day thing because I feel like it's more so sustainable for me as far as creating the identity that I want for myself. But I don't know. Maybe in the beginning of the year I'll do a 75 hard or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. But definitely for right now, it's like I want to first build up that identity and then choose from there what I want to do, to start off my year. What do you suggest for being around someone that you kind of impede envious energy from? Um, I would say create boundaries. And I think most people would say cut that person off, get rid of that person, depending on how long the relationship has been, depending on um yeah, most of the things. I don't know what I was about to think of. It can be hard to just completely cut it off cold turkey. Also, and this is not you trying to like keep tabs on people, but sometimes to tell that person how you feel. Like if they say little stuff like, "Hey, like what was that supposed to mean?" or "What was that supposed to mean?" And be like, "Hey, I feel like you kind of," and you don't have to say envious because envy is kind of like sometimes when you, and this is not to walk on eggshells around people, but one thing I've learned is certain verbiage turns people off automatically. And once people get into that defense mode, they not even listening to what you're saying for real. Like everything you're saying is going one end out the other, and they just want to argue with you. So I would say notice what they're doing and telling them how it's making you feel. Like, hey, yeah, you said that. That made me feel weird. Like, in a sense, and of course, adjust it to the conversation. Easier with specific conversations, but letting people know how you feel because I think sometimes too people could say, "Well, I didn't mean it like that," or "I didn't mean it." It's like, oh, okay, well, that's how that thing made me feel. And it's like if they keep doing it, that's when you start creating boundaries around your relationship. Hey, we can't go out together, or hey, we can't talk about this, or we can't, and then eventually, possibly letting it full out. But yeah, that's what I would say. Like, just start making the person aware of what they're doing. Because I think sometimes too, we don't let people know how we're feeling and like we'll feel bent up about something like this person made me mad, this person made me angry, and that person just like do 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 like going about their day. They don't even know that they done made you feel that way. But that's why you sometimes got to tell people. But that's why I say I go into it with telling people how they made me feel. Because when you start giving them specific titles of like you this and you that, you being this, it's like that's easy for them to say I'm not. And maybe to them they aren't, but it's like this is how you made me feel. So correct it or step it. I've always been extremely aware, but lacked equal action because I thought my worth was in how I served others. It's eating me up now. Yeah, I can agree with that to a certain extent because I think I for a long time thought my worth was in my accomplishments and the things that I did and what others thought about me. So I can see in a sense of being how you serve others. But you said it's eating you up now. So like you said, first and foremost, now you are aware of that thing. Be aware, what does that look like for you? Like what does it look like when you serve others and put others before you? What does it look like when you prioritize other people? And if even if you will, I'm a big fan of always doing this, make a list of what are some of those things because that's how you can figure out how to diminish some of those things, like get rid of them, minimize them, and then also realize when they're going to pop back up again because they are. If this is something that you've been doing for a very long time, more so most of your life, it's only natural for those things to pop up again. But I think being in a place in a space where you can say, hey, this is what this thing is, and this is what it looks like, it can help you avoid it. And then also, you could be aware of what to say. I think sometimes when we're put in awkward situations, we just say what we want people, what we think people want to hear. But then it's like if you're already prepared, you can kind of reply with more so of a no, or no, I can't do that. Or instead of feeling like I don't know what to say, and I don't. So at the moment, you just say what you want people to hear, or not necessarily what you want people to hear. what you're used to seeing. So I think keeping a list, realizing what does that actually look like? Not just what you think, but like what does it actually look like? And then figuring out how to essentially minimize those actions. Someone said, oh sorry, how would you recommend getting through the challenge if you struggle with anxiety and feel like it holds you back from living? Um that's why the first phase is starting small. So the first phase is, and that's why I definitely recommend, I've said before, please watch the video I recently posted, I think on Sunday, of the first 4 weeks. It's about minimizing things. The first month is not about you achieving anything. And it's just about you starting things and you implementing small things and just the premise of small things. Um, but I want you to understand, and sometimes I hate when I talk about stuff in a video that I didn't post yet because it's like I don't want y'all to think I'm repeating myself. But this is just on my mind because I literally just created a video about this and I'm going to post it tomorrow. But being aware of oh no, I talked about this on a live. But being aware that just because you're experiencing something does not mean that you have to experience the symptoms of that thing. So yes, you do suffer with anxiety, but like I said, even to the last person, what does anxiety look like for you? And once you first and foremost know what anxiety looks like for you, you can start realizing, well, what moments induce this anxiety? Don't get me wrong, sometimes it's just a wake up, or sometimes it's it's nothing. But more times than not, it possibly can be something, it possibly can be someone. And that's why even one of the things that I talked about was getting rid of draining realizing in your life things that drain you and being aware of some of those things, but realizing that if this is something that you anxious, you have anxiety, like this is sometimes people realize this is part of your story. And does that mean that you're going to have to do things a little bit differently? Yes. And that's why also said in the beginning of this video, it is a 90-day journey, but for some people, it's going to take 97 days. For some people, it's going to take 85 days. Like just because, I mean, sorry, not 85 days, 105 days. Sorry. Just because something has a specific time, I put the time there because I wanted it to make it concise and it's easier to break up. But everybody's going to be different. Even I explained in the video for the last week of the challenge, it's kind of not the last week of the first phase. So the fourth week is essentially you for 7 consecutive days, 1 week, practicing all the things that you've been leading up to in week 1, week 2, week 3. I said, if you cannot do those things consecutively, because they shouldn't be a whole bunch of hard stuff. It should be you cutting out certain draining things and just building the premise for little small things. Keep repeating that week until you get it right. I don't care if that week takes you 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks. Keep repeating the fourth week because I do not want you going into phase 2 not even ready. And then convincing yourself it's because of this. It's because for some people they may say it's because I'm anxious. It's because this. No, it's because you didn't realize how to do the challenge for yourself. Realize things that give you anxiety. Realize when things are too much for you and realize things that you may have to work on longer than other people. I've used this analogy in a different video, but it's very similar to someone having a broken arm. If you have a broken arm, you can't shoot the ball the same way someone does that doesn't have a broken arm. But does that mean you can't shoot the ball with your other arm? Or maybe not shoot the ball. Let's say right? You possibly can't write if that was your dominant writing hand with that arm. But now you have to teach yourself how to write with your other hand. And though it may take you longer, and though the writing in the beginning might not be as nice as others or whatever the case may be, are you just going to tell yourself, I'm never going to write again? Or I'm going to wait until this arm is healed? It might take months. No, you're not going to do that thing. And so I think sometimes too, when we have different things that are holding us back for whatever reason, and we might not be able to do it the same way as others, acknowledge, hey, I'm going through this, but also acknowledge first and foremost, obviously, what that thing is, but then how can I still live life with this thing? Because there's certain things in life that just like are part of life for some people, but it's like, don't allow yourself to think I can't do this because of this. No, this is just, there's certain roadblocks in the way because of it. But I feel like that's life. Like, and I don't mean to say this for your anxiety. I'm just saying for anyone, like, we're all going to have different roadblocks for different things, but it's you just learning how to still live with those roadblocks and what does life look like for you. And that's why I do have a video specifically helping you create your own challenges and you to figure out what time to input your challenges and how to make time for it, because it's different for different people. Would you ever consider making gym content? Um, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy about like recording in the gym, if you want me to be honest. I'm sometimes iffy about even recording outside. That's why I record in my home, if you want me to be honest. And it's not even just about like, oh, I'm anxious and like people are looking at me. Maybe there's a little bit of that. But especially with the gym, it's primarily like I just feel like maybe people don't always want to be recorded. And I feel like the gym is a very vulnerable place for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, there's always the gym rats and the gym buffs or whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like people are being vulnerable in this place, in this space. And it's like for me to pull out a camera and like, even if I'm not recording them, they're like, you subconsciously, we have the spotlight effect. We always think stuff is about us. Like we all live in our own world mentally. So I just don't want people to be uncomfortable at a place where they should feel safe. So that's why I've kind of always been a little like iffy about the gym content because it's like I don't really want to record people and it's like this girl just learned how to do this workout on TikTok yesterday. She don't know what she doing and she already not comfortable. And look at me, y'all. So today I'm gonna and she in the back like you know. So yeah. Someone said it's not necessarily stuff they say, it's just actions. Like I'm very aware of body language, tone, etc. And plus them always trying to copy me right after everything. Yeah, so like I said, and maybe it can be that but you also can say, like I said, just being like, you good, like your tone kind of like you seem like you got attitude or you whatever, like I don't, or like I said, see, I gotta catch myself in a sense, being like your tone making me feel like you you got an attitude or something like that, like in a sense of like saying how it make you feel. Um, but also sometimes too, we gotta realize when we gotta, cut off certain people. Like, and sometimes that's what it is. Because sometimes we'll build entire resume of why we shouldn't be friends with somebody, why we shouldn't, da da da, and then they do something to us, and then we act like we were blind this entire time. Like, I can't believe this person did this, and I can't believe, and it's like, why? You have an entire resume book on how they treated you wrong, on how they talked junk about you, on how they did this, and it's like finally when they do. It's kind of like when a snake bites you. It's like at the end of the day, like you could be cool with a snake, I guess, but like if a snake bites you, you can't be like, "Oh my gosh, you bit me." It's like, "I'm a snake." Like, you thought I wasn't gonna bite you? You the one that was chilling with me. You knew I was a snake. Snakes bite, so I was gonna bite you eventually. You was cool for a little bit, so I ain't bite you. I have to go now, but I enjoy this. Do you do lives on a regular schedule? So I actually do lives every other Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. So I will have my next live October 8th. But I do try to tell you in my videos so you guys can sign up to be reminded about when the lives are. I'm actually probably about to end this live soon as well because it's been an hour and 30 minutes and it's quite time. And I have to start preparing for tomorrow. Someone said, what advice would you give to someone with addiction during this 90-day challenge? I've been prepping the past 2 days by not smoking during the day, only at night. Um, I would recommend. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, because I really want to think about my answer before I give it. Um, I would recommend watching my video. I have a video kind of talking similar about something like that. Let me find a name for it. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't have the answer to everything. And when it comes to addiction, that actually is something I've been reading on lately. So I actually will be creating a video on that pretty soon. But let me actually link a video here that you can click on that I think may possibly help you. Because addiction does come with a lot of different things that I think adds on top of a 90-day journey. And I don't want to talk about a topic to be completely honest, I don't have the complete consensus on, I will in the next 90 days create a video on it because I have been looking into it extensively. If you want me to be honest, that's actually been like my new fixation. Learning about addiction and just how that works in your brain and so many different things. So I will be creating something on that. But in the meantime, hold on. I just linked a video right here that can hopefully help with that. Someone said, how are we going to stay accountable with each other during this time? I actually have created a group chat, so I have it pinned. It says the group chat link. If you have been signing up for my worksheets at the end of my videos, then you should have received a email telling you how to join the group chat and how to sign up. On my post, if you go to my page and there's like different tabs at the top, just say like playlist, post, videos, scroll to you see post, and I have a post there where I am talking about how to join the group chat, well, the link to the group chat essentially. But yeah, so I'm actually about to end this live. It has been an hour and 40 minutes. It's probably one of my longest ones. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Like I said before, if you do like these lives, I will be having them every other Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The next one will be October 8th. If you have anything that you specifically want advice for, go to any one of my recent videos and look in the description below because I have something called my advice email. It's completely anonymous. You could just tell me anything you want me to talk about. I'll talk about that. Please, please, please make sure that you go below and that you follow my YouTube. That is another way if you just need some kind of motivation. I will be creating just like morning, linked it right here. I will be creating morning, like good morning post, like just motivational morning posts, I guess you would say. I'll start posting tips and tricks on there. It is under my brand name, The Simple Complex. So if you guys are like, wait, what's this? It's not her. It's me. It's the brand. So there's that. And I think that's all. If you were still here, thank you so much for everyone that joined. Thank you so much for everyone that is doing the 90-day challenge starting tomorrow. Peace and blessings and everything to you. And you got this. We got this. And it's like start on a high note. Start like, listen, what I recommend to do is if you don't have a planner already, go on Amazon and get you one. But from when you wake up, what is that going to look like for you? Or maybe you focus more so on your night routine, whatever routine, but you should already have that mapped out. Like, what is your tomorrow routine going to be? What is the routine you're focusing on for the next week? As much as you can map it out as much as possible. What you gonna do, you come home from work, just like things set in place so you're not as easily going to go back to your old way of just being, your old way of just a reflex. Also, when tomorrow morning starts, what is one thing that you are getting rid of? So what is one drain? Is it somebody you ain't talking to? Is it social media platforms? Don't wait until tomorrow. Please, please, please figure out all this stuff tonight. And if you still need specific help with what to do, please make sure you go and watch my YouTube video that I do have talking about the 7 days how to start. You know what? I keep talking about the video. You guys are probably like, what's the video? I probably should link the video. That only makes sense, right? I keep telling everybody to go to it, sharing everything else. Okay, so I will link the video right here. So please, please, if you're starting tomorrow, you still be like, I don't really know what to do. Watch that video. Like I said, join the group chat. If you are in a group chat, please talk, please share, please come on. I'm trying to get everybody to start talking. So let's do that. I think that's about it. Follow my Instagram, like I said, and I think that is it. So happy 90-day lock-in. And if you feel like, dang, I'm not ready for tomorrow, do not rush it. You have until October 3rd if you want to end your challenge by January 1st. You have time. Please do not rush it. Please do not get yourself into something that you're not ready for just to get there and be like, I ain't ready for this. You knew you wasn't ready before you started. Baby girl, why you started? Don't force it, okay? So, like I said, you have until October 3rd, which is a whole week and a couple days. And that gives you enough time to, prep or whatever. I actually do have a video talking about how to condense my whole preseason into 7 days. So there's that. But there's an entire playlist. If you go to my channel, there's an entire playlist where I have all of these videos linked so you exactly know what to do and how to do it and all that good stuff. So thank you guys so much for being here. And if you're not already, subscribe, 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 subscribe. And as I always say, in any video you watch of mine, any video, drop a fire emoji, a unicorn emoji, a heart emoji, any kind of interaction helps. Share it with your mama, your grandma, any kind of interaction helps. The bigger I can grow this channel, the better content I can make. So thank you. Where will I see updates from you? Where will I see updates? I will be sending updates in the group chat. I also will be talking about them throughout videos, like at the end of my videos and stuff like that. Oh, I get what you're saying. All right, I need to hurry this. Updates from me. Maybe I should start vlogging or something. I don't know. I'm vlogging, you know. Wait, do you mean that? Do you mean like, I'm so sorry. Do you mean like updates from me, like what I'm doing? Like Instagram, you know. Oh yeah, so follow my Instagram. I did link my Instagram. So follow my Instagram, but it's not my personal Instagram. It's like I deactivated my personal Instagram. So it's like my brand Instagram. As far as me personally, I might post on YouTube. I don't know. I'm going to document it regardless. But yeah, so I will be posting like the today's is in the group chat. I will be posting like today's is throughout my post on YouTube, the posting, and then yeah. So I'll document it somehow, some way. I gotta figure out if I want to do like TikTok, if I want to do like Instagram, but I meant Instagram, YouTube. But if you watch my videos, at the end of all my videos, I will tell you guys which one I choose to do because I still have not figured that one out yet. But thank you guys so much and have a great one. Where do you find a group chat again? Go to my page and then go to my page and scroll over to where you see post. Like there should be a tab that says like a whole bunch of stuff. It's in there. It's in there where you see like posts and stuff like that. It's in there. It should say like, oh, sorry. It should say videos, shorts, live, playlist, post. Go there and it'll be linked there. So thank y'all and have a great one.